Okay, hi. In this video, we'll talk about the CAPTCHA, how it's implemented or where it's implemented, and then also talk about the scraper, like the log scraper, the report scraper, the one that tells about the win loss, right? That one. So for the CAPTCHA, we have all the CAPTCHA code that you gave us in the script called CAPTCHA solver.py, right? So we have it for three type of CAPTCHAs. So the accounts that currently are that are bothering us with CAPTCHA are the one that were deployed on the GAMZ. So those were called like Gross Venner casinos, and those websites. So like in case of Gross Venner casinos, the CAPTCHA earlier used to be only appears at during login, right? So before login. So we simply like implemented the function over here. So if CAPTCHA appears, the CAPTCHA is solved, and then we try to do the login, right? So and also for there is another website called Betfred. So in this one there is Google reCAPTCHA, but the captcha does not appear during login. It only appears when we have like done one orbit or two, or when we have like selected horses. So this only appears sometimes. So for this region, like this captcha has been like implemented, solution has been implemented while selecting the bot. So selecting the horse, so every time the bot tries to select a horse, it would load the horse page, right? So in case of bit 65, it would load okay, where is it? This one, this one, right? So every time it loads this page, right? So whatever the equivalent is for Betfred, it will load that page, and then if there is a captcha, it would solve it, right? And then proceed to do bet as usual, as it does for other websites. So for log collection, this is the function, like this is the script or the code that is run every day at 9 p.m. So for collection, what happens usually is what it does basically is it checks all the website, right? And then for each website, it checks all the accounts, and then it checks the settings for each accounts, and then tries to run the scraper for all the accounts, right? So for example, let's say there are three websites currently. Let's say there are three websites, right? So Bet65, Coral, and then William Hill. So it will the scraper like this collect logs will see there are three websites, and then read the accounts for each website, and then it will try to run all the accounts inside each website at once, right? So it will run all the accounts of Bet65 at once, and then after that is completed, it will run all the accounts for Coral. After that is completed, it will run all the accounts for William Hill. So it what this also does is for each account it will send email notification on what the outcome was, and also like after all the accounts have been run of all the accounts have been completed, it also should send an Excel file to Oliver, and like whoever email is over here, right? So currently it should send the email to me and then Oliver. So that's pretty much like what the script does. So let's quickly dive through it. So if you want, you can ignore the rest of the section. So but let's just go through it in case if this is helpful for you. So this starts at start collection function, right? Method. Okay, so here we check all the available websites, right? We look through all the websites, we get the details, and then this is okay. So this is actually for the purpose of sending Excel file to Oliver and me. So let's see how the Excel file looks. So this is the Excel file that should be emailed every day at the end. So it has the name of website, name of the account, and the status. For example, this website, this account, right? For Bet65, this account was turned off. So the scraper ran successfully for this, right? So it sends like started time, stop time. So for this, the scraper should have started and ended pretty quickly because the account status. Oh no, no, sorry, yeah. Also, like what happens is, as Oliver had asked earlier, that even though the account status is turned off, you still want to run the scraper on it. This is because, let's say, while doing bets during the day, the account ran out of balance. So in that case, the accounts automatically gets turned off, right? But the account could have done like 4 to 5 bets before that. So just for that reason, we want to run the scraper on all the accounts. So this is just the summary of all the accounts. So in case if there is an error, it would be sent in the remark section. So yeah, so for this, the 32 thread and margin. So this for these, I think we don't have the scraper, right? Lock scraper. So this is the error for that. And okay, so I think that it for the that's the Excel file, right? So this is the data. For example, like I said, what is happening is, so we load all the websites, right? So whatever like Bet365, Coral, William Hill, Betfred, right? We look through the website, and this function, it runs all the accounts for that website at once. So in case this function fails, we want to report error like, okay, the account this website did not run. So this is simply we are adding details to this list. I think that's a dictionary. Okay, to this dictionary. um, yeah, that's a dictionary. Okay, we add details to this dictionary, and then later we'll convert this dictionary into an Excel file and then email it. So we look through the websites, right, and then we run the function that runs the scraper for all the accounts of that website. So that function is over here. So we again like load all the websites, right? So this function, what we are doing is, previously if we check the app, right? So in the apps we have an issue like we it's not an issue exactly, but poor implementation. Okay, that would be the correct term. Okay, I think it's in the start automation. Sorry. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, so here we see like this part of code is pretty repetitive, right? So the pattern is same. So we load the class, right? We provide the settings, we filter the data, right? And then we shuffle it, and then we start the thread. So we do the same. We do the same for all the websites. So every time we add a website, we have to add like 10 to 15 lines of extra code. So in case of the logs collector, we have tried to like change that so that it gets easier. So what we did here is we created a dictionary with the name of website. So the name is exactly same as it is over here. So here the name is Bet365, right? So the name should be exactly right over here. And then with ease key, we have linked the class, right? We have linked the class for scraper. So whatever type of website it is, we can simply like access the class by just using the name. So this can be automated so that we don't have to keep writing like we don't have to write the repeating code. So here we create the dictionary with the type name of the website and then the class, right? So we get the ID of the website, right? So if it is Bet365, we get the ID. So and then yeah, we get the ID. So we get the details of account, and then we look through all the accounts. So we get the username, right? We get the email and all those other details. And then so okay, so what is it? Yeah, okay. So here we get this scraper class. So this scraper class is equivalent to like, for example, if it is Bet365, the scraper class would become this, right? If it is William Hill, the scraper class becomes this. So for Mr. Green, the scraper class would be this, right? So that we can use it directly. So let's say we got the scraper class, right? So we simply like generalize this below, right? We send like for all the scraper, the pattern is same. We send username, password, account ID, website ID, and the emails to notify, right? And the status as in if the status of the if the account is turned on or off. Also, if the account is turned off, we do not send any emails. So the emails is only sent if the status is turned on, right? So we also mhm. Yeah, so we also like we are also using threading over here so that we can speed up the process of scraping. So here what we do is, for example, we create a single thread for each type of account, and then wait for the threads to end. So what this function does is it loops through all the accounts, right, and starts a thread for each of the accounts. And after like it has started all the accounts, it will loop through the threads and then keep waiting until all the threads are completed. This way we can run all the accounts inside the website at once. So after this thing is called, right, so whatever type of website it is, the either like one of the script is called, right? So let's assume like the this currently we are running a skybet and then for some account, right? So for this, so simply this would be called, right? The pattern for this is okay, the pattern for this normally differs, right? The scraper pattern normally differs, but the thing that keeps is constant is this function called start logging, and the one that said get current balance, and then the one that said get history. This is because the report, the for example the bet data, like the data from each website on how many bets we did, like which bets we won, is a bit different for each website. Like for some we have to use we simply we are simply able to use it through Selenium. For some, we have to log into request and then use Selenium for the rest of the data. So for some, this gets quite confusing. So they do not have similar patterns most of the time, but normally what happens is this function is called, right? So this is called, so depending upon the environment. So in case of production, since there is no display, we use Pi virtual display in production. We start a flex screen, right? We start Chrome driver, we try to do login. So if the login is good, we check the balance. So for that, we have a function. So this function reads the balance. So we check the balance. In case of sometimes for bit65, there are sometimes weird pop-ups that happen. So whatever, so we if there is pop-up, so we handle it. So I'm not sure if there is pop-up for skybit, so but if there it is, so we add the code in this function, right? So other than that, so sometimes there is cookie, right? So this happens for most of the website, we have to close cookie, so that is does it does not block clicking for other parts. So normally we always call the self dot get history function. What this does is it goes to the history, right, transactions, and then pulls all the data for the successful bets today. So after doing that, we read the other details such as how many successful bets that were reported on our database. Generally, there is always a difference, right? So our tool reports, sometimes it says like we did successfully 20 bets, but on checking on the website, it says like we did 23 successful bets. So sometimes our website over reports it or under reports it. So we get this data from both of the places so that the Oliver or whoever sees the email can make a comparison. And we that's pretty much it. So what this happens is this function, when it runs, it adds all the logs inside a list called self.logs. So we loop through it, right, and then we like calculate what was the total bet amount for that day, total return, total win or loss, right? So we calculate that and then we create a message and then send it to the client. So the status is turned on, the email is sent. If not, no email is sent. So at the end, we close the instance, and then if it's production, we stop the virtual environment, and that's pretty much it. So if you want to see the get history section, so for Skybit, yeah, okay, for Skybit, I think, uh, yeah, okay, for Skybit section, it was a bit I think it was a bit difficult to do it with the request library. So here there was a like load more button. So it looks like this. What this does is it keeps on clicking the load more button, and then after doing that, it checks like through all the transactions, and then if those transactions happened today, right, it will use those, and if not, it will ignore them. So it normally loops through all the transactions and then checks like if it checks the date, right, it checks the date and then reads the type, like what was the bet amount, what was the returned amount. It calculates if it's a win or a loss, right, and then so if everything is good, it adds it to the logs logs list. And then also this update report logs, what this function does is it updates the details of the script, like this script details to our database. This is because although we have an instant email, right, so the instant email is sent to client like about the details what happened each day, but we also store this in database just in case the email was not sent or we have to save it for some debugging purpose. So this is also available for client to download by logging in the website. So we also store the data, and I think that's pretty much it for the scripper. Let me check if we missed something. Mhm. Yeah, okay, I think we covered this. Yeah, I think everything looks good. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to help.